Hello everyone, thank you Paul for letting me be a guest today. My name is Jose Fulgencio. As you can tell by my accent, I'm not from Oklahoma, I'm from Chicago. I created the OYHM Series, called the OYHM Series, basically the go-to resource for college students, for Latinos across the nation. I started this while I was in grad school at Oklahoma State University in Stillwater. I gained my master's in entrepreneurship. And basically it just started with this one little video of how to write a scholarship paper. If you go on the website, oyhelpme.net, it's this very terrible video that I say, hey, how to write a scholarship paper. And so I started with that video and I created, now there's about 20 some videos on different topics. There's even one on how to successfully transfer from a community college to a four-year college. So just topics on things that's going to help young Latinos graduate from college and actually get into college. And today Paul asked me how to study effectively. How do we study effectively in college? I know that most of us, in college probably don't know how to study. I remember when I was an undergrad, I didn't know how to study. Right? I looked at the book and I was like, okay, I'm going to stare at the book for 3 hours and I'm going to close it and I'm going to get an A. And we'll go to class and I get a bad grade and I wouldn't even pass. So I finally figured out a way how to study effectively. But you even ask yourself, do you even study, right? It's like in high school, we can get away with not even studying. Like you go to class, even the teacher will sometimes even give you the answers. I hear here in Oklahoma, like for American government, for example, the football coach is the teacher, and he would give you the answers. And I would just be like, oh gosh, I can't believe that. And I teach American government too, so all the students come in thinking it's going to be the same way. I go, no, you actually have to study now, So you have to put in the effort to study. And I have 6 tips, right, on how to study effectively, right? The first one is schedule your time, right? When you have a planner, okay, I'm going to study from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock, or from 3 to 5, right? Because I go to work at 5:30. So from 3 to 5, I'm going to study for those 2 hours. So from 3 to 5, I'm going to study for whatever subject, biology, math, American government, whatever that topic is or that subject you need to study, right? And you're going to set Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 3 to 5, I'm going to study this subject, right? And I'm going to study, because they say for every hour you're in class, you study 2 hours, right? And you're going to study those 2 hours. You're going to set on your agenda, your schedule, you're going to treat it as a class. You're going to study that time. The first 2 weeks, maybe the first week is going to be very hard to do, because it's going to build a habit. Right? We had bad habits in high school of not studying. Now you have to build a good habit. So that's the first tip. Second one, have your materials ready. Right? When you get to this, when you get ready to study, make sure you have all your notes, your textbooks, whatever it is, the material that you need to have in order to study. Right? So I don't know, for biology class, you may need the lab notes, you may need the class notes, the lecture slides that the professor may put up on the. What do you guys use, Detail or Blackboard, right? Blackboard, right? Sometimes the professor puts up extra material they may need to study. So have that material ready, because the last thing you want is to sit down, like, oh crap, now I gotta go waste time, print out whatever I needed into my time and get the material that I need. So make sure you have your materials ready. Tip 3, find a quality environment to study. I can't tell you, all right, Starbucks is not a quality environment to study. Right? There's so much noise going on, people are moving around, your friends come by, hey, how are you? And then you sit and talk for 3 hours, she's meandering about whatever, right? Or whatever coffee place you go to, right? You have to find a quality environment. You just can't, or sit at the kitchen table and expect your mom is not going to disturb you, or your dad is going to ask you to do something for them, or your little brother or sister, right? So find a quality environment. The library is a good place, but when you're in the library, go find a place that your friends are going to find you in. Right? They're not going to literally hide somewhere in the library. I remember when I did a study abroad at the University of Puerto Rico, Rio Piedras, when I was a sophomore, my undergrad. And the dorm, it was a very famous dorm, I think Torre Norte. It was literally 1 block away from all the bars. Literally 1 block away from all the bars. So Thursday nights, Friday nights, forget about studying in the dorms. I mean, you hear the music blasting. Everybody from the dorms, come on, let's go, let's go party, let's go to the bars, come on, you forget about that. So what I would do, and I knew Thursdays and Fridays were a bad time to study. I would never even study in my dorm. It was a terrible place to study anyway. because in Puerto Rico, like, there's no windows, there's shutters, and there's no AC. So, thank heavens I was on the 9th floor and I would feel the breeze from the air, but other than that. So I would go to the law school library, all the way in the back of the campus, like where I knew none of my friends, they were all lazy, they were not going to walk over there, right? I would hide myself in the law school library, and I knew it was the quietest place because everyone there was serious about this. I mean, these are law school students, everyone's serious. And if you even talked a little bit like this, they would tell you to shut up, like, shh, right? You couldn't make a sound. I would be very quiet, very discreet about moving my papers because everybody told you to shut up. So that's where I would study. You know, Thursday I would go study there. I mean, almost every day I would study there, especially Thursdays and Fridays. I would study there Thursday night. I would get out about 11 or 12 and then put my stuff away and then go have fun with my friends. Right? And I got my quality study time in an environment where it was quiet. Plus, I couldn't be distracted by internet because if you weren't a law school student, you couldn't even use the internet there, the Wi-Fi. So it was a good, so find a quality environment to study. Tip 4, the sound. Now those are those for you who like to study with sound, right? You have to have some type of music going on. I highly suggest listening to classical music, right? Because classical music, a lot of it, you don't even hear, all you hear is the instrument, but you don't hear voices. And that, for some reason, just makes you concentrate and zone in on what you're doing. On the website, there's a resource there where I put some classical music. There's a couple of videos that are even 6 hours long of just non-stop classical music. So you just leave it on and just hear it the entire time. You don't have to worry about it. And for some reason, just classical music just makes you concentrate more. You know, put away the reggaeton, the Daddy Yankee, or the norteño, or whatever you listen to, because it's not going to help you study, right? Because you're going to listen to it for 3 minutes, and then you're going to be like, okay, I got to find another 3-minute song, and then you're going to be more distracted by trying to find a song. You're like, oh, I don't like this song, I got to find another one. Then all of a sudden 30 minutes are gone just to try to find the perfect song. So make sure that you have, if you're not into music, that's fine, you know, but those are for those of you who have to listen to something. Classical music is the route to go. Tip 5, now when you study for those 2 hours, study in 30-minute increments, right? Study good for 30 minutes, take a 5-minute break, and then study for another 30. You have to take a break in between. Don't study 2 hours straight. You're not going to really learn anything. Like my suggestion, study in 30 minutes, take a 5-minute break, you know, treat yourself to a nice little treat, Facebook your friends real quick or something, reply to those Facebook messages or your text or whatever it is, Instagram. That's what I would do. 30 minutes, 5-minute break, 30 minutes, 5-minute break, and so for those 2 hours, right? It'd be good quality study time, right? And when you study, just don't memorize the facts, you know, because if you memorize the facts, you may remember it, and then all of a sudden you're gonna forget. You know, study the root of what the subject is. You know, write it down. Study, okay, what is American government? What is democracy? Just don't remember the definition, but look at the root of what democracy is, for example, if that's what you're going to study for. You know, look at it, and it's like for math, what I would usually do is I would look at the questions that were asked before in previous homework assignments and then do it all over again, but without looking at the homework, and practice it myself. Just continuously practice it, write it down. Just don't stare at it because you're going to forget it. You have to actually write it out. It's going to help you remember. Just actually write out the question again and redo it. And actually, I don't know if the library here, if they have a room where you can go in and actually write on the board, like on a board or something, like a whiteboard. But if you can get access to a whiteboard, I usually do that. I would get up, like pretend if I was in a class and actually write out the question there and start writing out the question and start writing out the answer. You know, figuring out. And then if you do have a study group, make sure it's not your best friends. Make sure it's someone from the class that you really don't know, but you think they're cool, and they may be a little smarter or something. You know, that's what I do. Because the good thing about it is you're not gonna cheese me out with that person because you really don't know them, and you're going. So you know, don't study with your best friend because you're gonna cheese me out the whole time. So study with get a study group of 2 or 3 people to study effectively, because you're not gonna waste time really and cheese me out. You're gonna just study for that 1 hour, and then you never know if that person's going to give you some good tips on how to pass the exam, or how to figure out an answer. That's what I did, especially when I was taking accounting and finance. I studied with a group that was like 10 times smarter than me, and I really got good quality studying time with them because they showed me some tips and tricks on how to solve answers. And the last tip, know what you're actually studying, right? Ask the professor, what is going to be on the exam? What is going to be on the quiz? What chapter should I look at? If they say, well, Tough luck. It's gonna be everything on the material. Everything, you know. You're like, you know, look back at your notes. What was something that the professor highlighted? What was talked about a lot in class? You know, know what you're studying. Just ask the professor or ask the TA. Do you guys have TAs? Teaching? No. Just ask the professor, right? Ask the professor during their office hours or in class. Hey, professor, what is on the exam? Because it's one thing just studying everything, but it's another thing actually studying what is going to be on the exam. You know, for my students, I know I tell them, hey, you can study these chapters. You know, some professors will do that. Hey, study this material. Make sure you really look at these pages and just know what you're studying and focus on that. And don't focus your time on things that is not part of the exam or won't be on it. So those are just some quick six tips that I have for you guys. Now, of course, if you look at the website, there is a video that I did with my friend. He did about 3 or 4 tips. It's pretty funny. I kind of go over these same tips. I would just added some more. So if you go on the website, there's just there how to study, and other videos, of course, how to write a scholarship paper, how to write a resume, how to successfully transfer from a community college to a 4-year college, how to successfully, and I didn't do that one.